How are you keeping yourself at health? At health in a complete holistic approach, not just in physical being. Health in the mental state, the spiritual state, the physical state. How are you keeping yourself connected to the people in your life? And how are you making a difference for yourself so you can go and make a bigger difference for the world? Because that's what we're here for, and that's just my belief. Hey folks, welcome back to the High Performance Method. I am your certified high performance coach, Sebastian Yepes. And as always, thank you for choosing to be with me for the next 5 minutes or so. Your time is of value to me, and I just thank you. I thank you for giving me the honor to share some time with you today. You are literally being a space for me to fulfill my mission here, my purpose here on earth. So thank you. I am in deep gratitude for you. And my commitment, as always, is to bring you some sort of value, some sort of idea, maybe a technique, maybe just a different way of looking at something, a perspective that will, in one way or another, enhance the quality of your life. Now, on today's conversation, it's going to be very simple. Health. Straight to the point. Health. We're living through some of the most incredible times right now, and the contrast that the world is seeing as a whole, it could not be any more perfect. We've lost connection with planet Earth. We've lost connection with Mother Nature. We've lost connections with ourselves and the people around us. What is happening in the world today is just a manifestation of all of that. And yes, we all gotta take care of our health, because if you don't, then who will? And if you're not taking it seriously, then who will? The contrast that you're seeing in front of you and the possibility that is out there, which is again, you being infected with the coronavirus and ultimately passing away, is real. That's real. That is a real contrast. That is not a possibility. That's real. There are people right now going through that. So how can we prevent that? And on today's conversation, before we dive into it, let me talk on a couple of different things. For one, bio-individuality. And what I mean by that is, what works for me may not work for you. So if you hear something that resonates with you, great. If you hear something that doesn't resonate with you, great. If there's something that you don't believe in, great. It's perfect. We're all different. If there's something that you hear that kind of tinkles in your ear and you're like, I wonder if that works, I invite you to explore it. That's what this is all about. We explore things, we try things, we do new things, and if they don't work for us, then they don't work for us. We stop doing them. And if they do work for us, then we continue to do so. What's the worst thing that can happen if you try out something new and it doesn't fit? For one, you learn a lesson. For two, you move on. Simple enough. So bio-individuality, number one. Number two, I did not make any of this up. This is not of my creation. This is my mentors, people that I follow, people that I deem as successful, people that for me are role models. People like Tony Robbins, people like Brendon Burchard, people like Tim Ferriss, people that are just leading the charge on, number one, success. And by success for me, I mean the connection with everyone in my life, that being nature, that being myself, that being the people in my world physically. Connection, number one. Two, health, my body being optimized. Three, my mind, right? My mind being sharp and me being able to be focused. And fourth, my spirit. That's what for me is successful, a holistic approach. So what I'm about to talk about is not my creation. This is just duplication from the people that are doing right now what I wish to do in my future, people that have what I want, and people that are impacting people on a global scale. So this is where this is coming from. Now, a lot of what I'm about to talk about, again, are habits. And that's the most important thing we gotta talk about right now, habits. The consistent actions that you take on a day-to-day basis that make up the quality of your life. These habits are the thing that we need to start to focus on a consistent basis. This isn't a thing for you to try once and hope you get the results of it. Think of a farmer. When a farmer plants a seed, what do? The farmer plants a seed, they water the seed, and in time, that seed gives its fruit. It's the same exact thing with that. We need to step away from the microwave mentality of doing something once and hoping that it works. It needs to be sharpened. It needs to be practiced. You need to have feedback to know what's working, what's not working. You need to consistently do it so you can train yourself to pick up that particular habit and actually run with it. So let's begin. For one, first things first, mind. How are you taking care of your mind? What are you doing on a consistent basis to keep yourself sharp? Now, the mind is a very interesting thing because, as we've spoken about already, the mind is still unknown. We know the brain, the physical chemistry, the physical biological brain, we're starting to understand it, but mind as a whole is still so unknown. There are so many things that we still don't know about the mind. We need to start to train the mind. We need to start to look at the mind as the versatile instrument that it is. We are just starting to understand the power of the mind and the magnitude that it has. Now, with the mind, we need to start to look at a couple of different things. What are we feeding it? The brain operates mostly off of hydration and fat. Are you feeding your brain with the necessary hydration, water, and the necessary fats? One, we need to feed the machine. We need to feed the machine in order for the mind to actually work and operate the way it's intended to. Two, what are you putting into your mind? As it says, garbage in, garbage out. As within, so without. As above, so below. What are you putting within your mind? What are you allowing on a consistent basis to flow into your mind? It works like a record. The more you store in it, whatever you store in that thing, the more that your life manifests like that. Whatever you put in here is gonna show up out here. Whatever you put in here, you're gonna act like that. So what are you doing? Are you setting goals on a consistent basis for yourself? Are you closing your eyes and seeing those goals manifested? Are you consistently picturing the best version of yourself? It's these things that the mind has the power to do. So what are you doing? How are you keeping yourself on track? Mind, number one. Number two, body. This physical thing, this instrument, this vessel of our bodies, again, hugely evolutionized. We're just fully starting to understand the full mechanics of it, and we're just getting to really get that we can actually optimize it. We can eat certain foods, we can practice certain things, that we can optimize our bodies. So number one, what are you doing in the morning? What are you doing to get your heart pumping? If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is drink a cup of coffee, you're not really doing your body the justice that it needs. What I mean is, you gotta feed your body with the necessary ingredients, with the necessary fuel. Coffee is not fuel for your body. Now, I love coffee. I drink coffee every day. Well, not true. I drink coffee every now and then. Water. You gotta drink water. The first things first. You need to wake up and the first thing your body takes in is water. You were just sleeping. You were in bed for maybe 5 to 8 hours, depending on how many hours of sleep you get. You were just sleeping for 5 to 8 hours. Your body was still using water. Your brain never stops running. You close your eyes and you go to sleep and your body goes into this slumber. Great, but your mind is still operating, meaning your body is still using the fuel that you fed it. So in the morning when you wake up, how are you making sure that your vessel, your spaceship, your vehicle is being taken care of? Make sure you're giving yourself the necessary hydration. They say in order to optimize your body, give it at least 70% of your body weight. So take your body weight, multiply it by 70%, and drink that much number in ounces. Now, you want to start to do that on the front end of the day. You don't have to. It's preferably so you're not drinking whatever that amount is for you at 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. Why? Because you can imagine that you're not going to get good rest. Which brings us to the third thing, rest. How are you giving yourself the necessary rest throughout the day? Are you taking some time to take 5 minutes throughout your busy hustle and bustle? Are you going through your day taking some time to just relax and be? Giving your time to just recoup, recharge. If you drive your car for a very long time, over time it's going to burn out. Same thing with your body. Give yourself the rest. And then at night, how are you resting? Are you going to sleep with the TV on? Do you have lights glowing in your room? No, you need to give your environment the necessary ambiance. You need to really give your body what it needs in its environment for it to get into full rest. Dark room, quiet, maybe even some meditation music, maybe some waves crashing in the background. I love that. I got some waves crashing in the background with some fire crackling and an owl hooting. There's an app for that. Go figure. And this helps me to just focus in on that and I can get a good night's rest. Body. And number 3, spirit. This is for me the most important one. Why? Because it is my personal faith that I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience. And what I mean by that is, I'm only here for a couple of years. When this thing dies, this physical being, this physical vehicle dies, my spirit lives. And science says it. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So when me, as a human species, I'm living through this time, look, our spirit is that thing that drives us. It is that inner calling. We've all heard it before, maybe we've forgotten it, maybe we turn our head from it, but it's always there, it's always calling to us. If we are not focusing on that spirit, that's when we start to get hooked on substances. We start to feel depressed. We start to lose connection with people around us because this spirit, and I keep pointing to my heart because this is the center of it all, this spirit right here is the driving factor to us as a species. It's one of the key things that we as humans are still trying to understand, and it's gonna take some time, and it takes a lot of intention. You're not gonna find spirit out there. Out there is the world. You gotta go within. You gotta listen to yourself. Things like meditation, things like journaling, where you really start to get one with you and one with spirit. You start to understand yourself in a deeper way. You start to look at things differently. You start to look at other people differently. You start to take a look at nature differently. Why? Because this ethereal thing that we call our heart is so deeply connected to the spiritual world that it actually beats 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year without us saying anything about it. So how are you taking care of your heart? How are you taking care of your spirit? And if you don't think that's important, look at the people around you. Are you connected with the people in your life? Whether it's your family, whether it's coworkers. If you're not connected with them, it's because you've lost connection with yourself. Dive back into that. And that can be a scary road. That can also lead into some dark stages for yourself. That's okay. That is a human evolution. And that right there is a human stepping into the grandeur that we're all here to be, which is you, which is me, which is us. The collective right now is going through transitions. It is our responsibility to step into the best versions of ourselves, because it's not just for us, it's the people that are coming, the kids that are yet to be born, and also our grandparents, our fathers. Right now, they're doing their thing. We need to be the ones to lead. We are the role models. So in these times of transition, in these times of change, how are you keeping yourself at health? At health in a complete holistic approach, not just in physical being. Health in the mental state, the spiritual state, the physical state. How are you keeping yourself connected to the people in your life? And how are you making a difference for yourself so you can go and make a bigger difference for the world? Because that's what we're here for, and that's just my belief. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. I love you, I appreciate you. It is our time to really step up. We are needed as a whole, as a collective, as a species. We are needed. This thing that's happening right now is not just a random act. This thing is a collective manifestation. We've all created this one way or another. Let's step up. Let's take responsibility for the things that we haven't done. And let's make sure that something like this brings us higher and doesn't knock us down indefinitely. I'll see you soon.